Yo, 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 what is going on, CoD Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder, and today we are here in SS2-13, where we are observing kingdoms. Let's show this off real quick. And did I say dash 3? I meant dash 13. Can't read with the 1 in front of that. But this is 12, 14, 16, 19, 20, 91, 97, 101, 105, 107, 112, 113, 115, 116. And you can see here, right, with the kind of new observation system, or at least some updates that they've made to it, at least from what I noticed, you can now actually just click on these and it'll take you right to where those fights are, right? So as an example, you see how it lines you up, takes you right into the action, and it might already preset to kind of max zoom level, which it looks like it may do, and if that's the case, I actually think that's great if it does preset it or default it to where it is fully max zoomed out. Or at least max zoomed out to where you could still see the fighting that's on the field. But we're watching right now where we have BTR, HY11, and going up against HY11 and EXP. And this is happening again in Final Zone. Gates just opened last night, so they've been open, I think, almost about 12 hours so far. And there's been pretty constant fighting that's been happening. Remember, this is the group of SS2-12, SS2-13, and then SS2-14, right? So those three Season 2 plus KVK groups all had their final zones opening pretty much within a couple hours of each other. And so being able to come and just get a nice glimpse, again, hoping that I'll be able to stream a little bit later, depending on when this video comes out later, because it might not be the exact same day, but hoping we can get some action during that time as well. However, I thought, hey, this would be nice to actually just come on and take a look. Now, the matchups that we have here is supposed to be BTR and TFO going up against HY11, EXP, and TK11, and then there's BEK that's also involved in the mix, right? So we have kind of the main fight, or at least the big fight that's happening here. There is another fight that's happening here where actually now HY11 is pushing on BTR. There's about 28 minutes left on that tower. And you can see HY11 here, right, also again fighting TFO on the west side. On the west side? So they got them on the west, BTR on the south. So H111 is, again, good activity, applying some pressure here. You can see where the junction is, or right around here, right, which is the south of the Frozen Airy ramp, going west to that level 4 Spire Choke. If they go that way, of course, they could also go over here north and then go around if they want to do the ramp or the western ramp instead of going on the south or southwestern ramp this way. And then you have the second field, right? If you remember, this is where TFS and OR were actually doing a lot of fighting, kind of in the beginning and then in the later stages for their group, which was SS2-13. Or sorry, SS2-3. This is SS2-13. But now you see where it's going down between BTR, EXP, and HY11. However, if we go over here, there's actually BEK, and then you have CDK and TK11. And if I zoom in here, I don't know if they're still fighting, but they were. And there was actually a healthy amount of fighting that was going on. And you can see with where they're at, it has died down a bit. I mean, I like how they got this red versus blue, kind of brings me back to my Halo days, if you will, where they, again, on the west, on the two halves, if you will. And I don't know if there is any fighting going on up here or what exactly. Oh, never mind. I guess there is something going on over here too as well. Interesting. So we have CMAR and CDK. Okay, so maybe CMAR is with BEK, and they're trying to push through here, going back west so they can get to some of the level 5 passes. There's also CDK that's over here, but again, they aren't really building at the moment, I imagine, because they're going back there in the south, or we should say on the east side of Zone 3. Ooh, had to hold that yawn in. Whew. Next time we're just going to do it. And so we'll see how much action they're going to be able to get in for themselves. There's also TK11, and I don't know. Okay, here we go. So they are actually doing some building here, right? They got about a little more than 8 minutes or less than 9. They're on that. Now, the interesting part here, when I look at this, is, again, if you're going to try and have them come up, now bear in mind, they still can't, right? If you're talking CDK, they could do a path option in order to get into the fight that more closely resembles them going here. They could maybe curve around, but they'd have to hug the mountain coming all the way over. I think it's a little bit more likely that when they come up the ramp, they'll... Oh, hang on, I have to remember now. I'm pretty sure there's an area they can get through. Like, this isn't completely closed off yet. No, it's not. So here, we'll just line that back up to however that looked, which was, I think, like here, right? Look, I'm trying to set this up, and it didn't even work right. But they would basically... We'll do it like this. They would have to go up the ramp here, curl, come back down, which they could, right here, or they could just branch west. They could also go around north, I believe. I don't think that that's cut off itself. Yeah, it's not. So they could still make that too as well. And then, of course, if they wanted to come in, just, again, with the pathing that they have available to them at the moment. Yellow's a little bit easier because, obviously, they're just going to go direct here. But, again, with them potentially being cut off, that's a little rough, right? HY11 would have had to basically build more towards the cliff and the ramp, so that way a third alliance could have come up the ramp with them, and then the fourth goes this way. Maybe they'll make some adjustments. We'll see how that plays out. And then, of course, on the other side, like we said, you have TFO and BTR, and that basically sums it up. I don't know if anyone else is going to get these. So, again, kind of a big... I don't even know. Again, we'll need to look at some... power distribution. Let me load this up on the Scout real quick for SS2, and I have to remember, what did we say for them in 13? So that's going to be my Kingdom 12 character. But yeah, let's see. Let's see if there's anything else going on up here. Not really any more action there. I guess we can go back and hang out. I'm sure there's going to be a little bit more popping off. And then we can always maybe go try and see if there's going to be some additional action going on over there in Zone 3 for dueling on that east side with BK. Excuse me. There we go. Got good sleep, but you know what? Still happens regardless. Okay. I'm going to bring this over real quick just so we can look at some numbers. So if we're looking at this, again, I'm just kind of showing you some top power player numbers here. I probably should do some alliance merits at the moment before it gets too intense. Again, things I wish I just had more time to do. More time to do is always lovely. So for me, where are we at? 12. Let's just go to 20. We'll show you guys top 20. All right. Well, actually, maybe we'll go more. Let's see how many T5s. Right, if we're averaging, what, like 47, 48, give or take something. They have more than 200 T5s based on this. In the group, let's look at some personal merits. So far, wow. So, again, you can just indicate lots of fighting that's happening. Jeez. That's a lot. 12 people over 10 mil. 49 over 5 mil. Nuts. Okay. So, remember, BTR, TFO, EXP 8, and then going up against EXP, HY11, and I think probably CDK's in there as well. And then obviously you have, and I mean, again, there's decent power here, right? TK11's there. And then again, I don't know where Beck is, because to me it almost feels like, okay, well, are they... Oh, hang on. Why am I trying to show you guys this? And I can't, and I haven't even switched my screen yet. Let's do this. Okay, that would probably help a lot more. So as I was saying that. Right, so here we'll show you guys the people again. Everyone's like, boss, dude, you're not showing us the screen right now. But yeah, then I think we went all the way down. I mean, again, right, nice to be able to at least see some. I'm just, commentating in the background, basically. Just imagine it. So 55 mil, you can see that personal merits we saw here, right? And then again, 12 over 10. There was, what do we say, 49, right? And then power. So we got BTR and TFO that are currently in Zone 3, right? So that's about 16.7 billion, let's say. And then there's EXP, HY11, and they're at 17.6, 17.7, right? So it's, what, a bill, 1.1, 1.2 billion more, at least for the main fighters that are fighting right now on the field. Again, CDK is there. And TK11 is there too as well. I mean, they could send people. It's 3.6 billion and 5. So you have, what do we say, 5? I mean, what, 8.6, 8.7? Right? Additional billion power that they have there, which would basically put them at 9. I mean, almost 10 billion more power than you have. Ooh, hang on. Let's look at Alliance merits real quick. But that would be the power differential. Again, they can still send people over, even if they're not connecting flags yet. So that is still a factor. So you can see you got, what, 9 alliances over 100,000, 3 already over 300,000. I mean, not bad. Not bad at all. Okay. Let's switch back to our good screen. EXP pushing into BTR, or I should say EXP and HY11 pushing into BTR territory. And this is an okay play, right? We've seen this happen before in a couple groups where we'll see players that are doing some deep dives, or even if it's a slight deep dive into territory. If you have numbers advantages and you feel, hey, let's go ahead and push in because, one, maybe they're not set up with a lot of turrets, they don't have maybe any established keeps up yet, and it's really kind of just still pure open field. These are the kind of cool things that you can see being done. Again, I like being able to see these things where it's not just, overwhelmingly flooded with turrets to where it turtles the game, at least for a bit, right, until you can kind of get to a point where you're going and kind of picking them away one by one. But, again, this is nice to see. And especially because it's just diverse. It's just some diversity in tactics and applications that you're being able to see in the open field, right? Where, hey, maybe sometimes it will be a kind of heads-up fight, right? And it will kind of be one side on their side, our side, at least until something's broken. But doing pushes like this, I actually think is okay because, again, it requires the defense to react. And in this case with BTR, it's a matter of, again, how well are you organizing yourselves? If you're going to get pushed like that, or is everyone just going to go into someone's city? You're going to kind of set a timer that everyone's going to push out together, right, when everyone's ready. Are you going to set a further back staging area to operate from? Are you going to be having everyone else just kind of come out of the cities like one by one and just kind of do some pickoffs, right? Especially if you have like a small force, maybe you're baiting them, and then all of a sudden they come in deep, and then everyone sends their troops out, and all of a sudden you're basically like mosh pit sandwiching them. I mean, there are some cool strategies and tactics that can be applied, whether it's from the aggressors or from those that are waiting to counterattack. But I'm all for people pushing in to territory. This is totally, there's our boy Ions. Right, I'm totally okay with them doing this. If you have the numbers to sustain, and you have, again, good tactics, good positioning, good micro that's being applied, you have good communication as well within the alliance. For those that potentially are in VC, right? These are good ways to play this out. Wow, my gosh, so much damage right there being done. Yeah, but the important part here is making sure you're spread out. Right, we often talk about this where you don't want to be clumping, right? At the moment, wherever my thing is, they're clumping kind of all around here, right? This is not what you want to be doing. You have a lot of territory to work with. I would spread out something like this, right? This way you can adjust, attack where you need to attack, and you have direct lines. Again, it makes a lot more sense overall, just because. And again, this is, I would imagine, basic at this point for anyone who watches my content when I cover war videos is, again, right, we're trying to play smarter, not harder, right? And in doing that, you want to reduce the amount of AoE damage that's being done on you, right? And hopefully increase the amount of AoE damage you're doing, or also spreading out to where maybe they switch it up and they just kind of go to more focus firing on single targets. That's okay as well, just because, again, they are, if you're comparing that versus taking an abundance of AoE damage, right, you would probably rather have the former. And again, on top of that, it also allows for damage to be distributed a little bit more, which hopefully will play more into the favor of the alliance that is able to do this more efficiently and effectively. Starting to working on that tower, though. Got some quick builds procking off. And you can see first flag here, right, overview of where some of the action is right now. I don't know if anyone else is really close enough. I am somewhat shocked, though, that they're not. Well, I don't know. I mean, the thing is, they're kind of attacking from the same. I would almost be okay, because we're seeing a lot of EXP, right? I would almost be okay of just wanting to see HY11 pressure this, right? So, like, you have EXP pressuring this flag. Why not have, or I'm sorry, excuse me, this is, I guess EXP is the only one. Yellow is EXP. Rough life. Yeah, so HY11 would have to build over here. But that's okay, right? If H111 builds here, right? And that would be a good play. And then that way they could start pressuring the flags up here and kind of go in a line along this way. Or I'm tripping, I'm sorry. HY11 is already over here doing damage. Look at this, man. It's a morning. Probably really needed to get more sleep. But yeah. So actually, never mind. This is actually okay because they're pretty much pressuring them on both fronts. And you can tell that the pressure is being alleviated. See, this is what happens when you're able to have one, good activity, and two, you're applying pressure on multiple battle sites. Where in this case, you have EXP who's attacking on the southeastern side of BTR, and then you have HY11 who's attacking on the northwestern side of BTR. And because of that, BTR has to kind of pick and choose at this point. I mean, again, if you're talking the 2v2 matchup, it is still somewhat close, right? Like we said, there's still about 1 billion plus power going in favor of HY11 and EXP compared to BTR and TFO. But again, and this is interesting. We'll see if this keeps up, because if it does, my thing is almost wondering, is this gonna almost kind of be like what happened in my group for SS2-10, where LNV, GD, FSKG just kind of, again, I don't want to say had their way, but it was very one-sided in the pressure and the directional pushing that was happening in that group, where they went up against NXS, RXS, and AC. However, bear in mind, it was only 2 of the alliances that really went into Zone 3 from the more Brez side, right? So it was really more of a 2v3, right? Because I guess maybe a better comparison would probably be the BDO. It would probably be the BDO, TO going up against FS and... the BDO PTW going up against FSK and TO. That probably is a better one. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's not a better one, because that's actually a 5-build difference. Let me see. Let me find... Oh! I know the one. I know the one that I'm thinking of right now. It is... I'm going to find it. Hang on. Where is it? It was the TPD one. That's the one that I want to hit at. So that was an SS2-6, right? And that was TPD, Dora, FTW2, RR, R from Doolin. They were at 24.4 billion power. They went up against SS50, ROE, and TS, ROA, and ROZ. They were estimated at 24.1 billion. So about a 300 mil difference when they were going in. However, right, and that was in favor of the Doolin side. So the TPD, Dora, FTW, RR side. However, even though it started off with good activity and good fighting, it was kind of just like this the entire time, right? It was them getting pushed back once flags connected, and the momentum was really only going in one side, and that was in favor of the SS50, NT, S, ROE, ROA, ROZ side. And so, again, we'll see what happens. Is it going to be a little bit of that? Will they maybe stabilize? At some point, bearing in mind it's only the first 12 hours, right? And we'll have to see. I mean, BTR obviously is keeping up pressure here on this side, despite the HY11. But, again, if you're not kind of getting consistent back and forths, almost like what we were seeing a lot with the OG EIS group, and now I have to find my names here. Where is it? Right. So it was the OG EIS, fake LSK, the SK1, SK2, VVV, and Tribe. Right, where they were getting some really good consistent back and forth for the first couple of days before it started kind of trending in the direction that it did, and now. And I would even say maybe to a lesser extent, only because the group itself is a bit different. But you could even say with like SS2-3, where TFS and Noor were going at it, right? And I mean, with Noor really kind of, finally getting pushed out of, I think it was a couple days ago, out of Final Zone, right? But I mean, that was the longest lasting Final Zone KVK division, where we were seeing the most amount of PvP and consistent PvP happening in Final Zone. But I think like with anything, right? Time's going to tell. But look at this, man. BTR being able to push EXP off the flag, now applying some more pressure here on this east side. where they're going to be able... Now, okay, so now we'll see what happens. Are they just going to stabilize, or are they going to push? Because I'm going to be honest, man. I'm okay with them pushing. Never mind. I thought the range was right here to the border, but it's not. So this will be interesting if Spire... Yeah, there we go. Spire's already... Oh, my gosh. Look at that. Was that negative 18 it just did? Oh no, it wasn't. It was the red. Yeah, but it's hitting right here. You could see it. All right. And this is the thing. If you're going to fight on Spire territory, right, don't go in like a bundle. You have all this room to work with. You are killing me, Smalls. Right? Look at this. Just bunching up constantly. Spread out. Right? Form your arc. And then you can apply. Because if you're spreading out and you're splitting up your clumps, what that means is that the Spire, again, what you want to do is almost what you want to do. You know what I wonder? I wonder if you can aggro pull the Spire, where you just have like an infantry unit going first, and then have that infantry unit move over here. So, right, and maybe it's just trying to stay out of damage, and then it just aggro pulls the Spire DPS. And then that way you can let everyone else... I wonder if that's been tested. Just a random thought. Otherwise, yeah, maybe have a tank go in first. Have them start tanking that damage. And then have everyone else spread out. You're just taking so much unnecessary AoE. And this isn't bad. I mean, EXP and a few HY11 people here. I mean, this isn't that much better. But at least they're spread out. Maybe you could say a teensy bit wider. And yeah, that's the thing, man. Call of Dragons is not mosh pit up in the wit. Not that I'm trying to rhyme. But you guys get where I'm going with it. Is that, again, spreading out, go wide, right, for as much width as you can, right, within reason. And, you know, you want to try and almost, not maybe full encircle, but almost like half encircle or like a third or a quarter encircle, right, your opponents, so you can hit them arguably from like the north, east, and south. Excuse me. Right, that's a thing to do. And then again, right, you have your cav going in and flanking, picking off the supply lines, right, doing your blitzkriegs, looking for those favorable matchups, arguably with the flyers as well. Right, let your tank, your archers, and your mages really, really make up the front line. And I think, you know, again, even though we haven't seen this happening too much when it comes to that level of organized PvP, where you're seeing engagement from all 5 unit types in efficient and effective ways, we have seen glimpses of these units being incredibly effective. Now, I'm still waiting to see my Riders of Rohan and the Rohirrim just really putting in some work, whether that's together or split, but in a unified effort out on the field for flanking, like I said, attacking supply lines. We've seen moments of Celestials and Flyers being done, right? One of the most notable, obviously, was, you know, the GG group doing that against TM, and then also with TFS doing that against Noir on their opening level 5 passes on the where they basically took all their Flyers and flew across the bridge ravine, or the mountains and ravine, and went right over to the level 5 pass for Noir. I mean, it was pretty awesome to see. And being able to see those types of things implemented individually, now it's just a matter of how can we mesh those together, right? How can we put all those together kind of into one? And I think that's going to, for me, going to be the next exciting glimmer or glimpse into us evolving the strategy and the quality standard level of play in Call of Dragons as we hopefully continue to elevate and innovate, we could say. And we're kind of establishing our half lines here. My 50, your 50. Excuse me, I got to be on 4 or 5. Not that I'm counting. One day when I get an editor, we're going to, like I said, we're going to have a young counter. I have no doubt in my mind. I do kind of like this a bit from BTR, where they are being a little bit more aggressive, and you can see how the momentum swings, right? Look when BTR was pushing and just coming out here a little bit, and notice where you saw the EXP and the HY11 players around here, right, backing up a little bit. Man, I could do a whole video on momentum and how that can influence movement from your opponents based on what you do. Even if you have even numbers or potentially less, even if it's a few less numbers, man, that's the thing, is it can really change the landscape, if you will, of the game and how things are applied. But more importantly, the reactions that you get, that you elicit from the opposition on how you're. It's almost like body language, right? And if you pay attention enough, right? Like I should do a video just on that where we'll watch a fight and we're just going to only pay attention to arguably momentum swings, right, and movement. Because to me, it's fascinating. When you look at those things happening and you're just only focusing on that, it's very telling. Very much is. Let's go look. Let's see if there's any action happening up here. Did they push them off? Okay, so no push-offs. Let's go see what's happening here. Are we back to fighting or no? Are we just... Okay, so kind of a... Oh, look at that, dude. So BK's working down CDK's tower. Even TK101's over here helping a bit, it looks like. And then there's... I don't even know what this is. Some action happening here? Oh. CMAR and BK. Dude, I like this, man. Just work them down one by one. This is good. And then look at that. Boomsies. However... What they should be doing, I wouldn't be attacking here. This is the wrong place to attack from, right? So this, an improvement is here. You don't attack from here and then here when you can get hit from from all these towers, right? What you do is you position here and you hit this tower. Why? Because this tower is farther away from this tower, from this tower, from this tower, from this tower, and from this tower, right? So you're reducing the amount of towers that are going to be able to hit you, right? So if I was attacking this, right, and this is strategy on how you approach towers, I would do this first. Then I would probably do this. I'll swing around and do this next, right? So I would attack from here to this one. Here, probably the same. I would just readjust. Here, I'd walk over here, and then I would attack here. And again, that's how you have to approach it. Right? If you want to get favorable trades and you want to reduce the amount of damage you're taking, that's what you do. Right? It's not rocket science. It's easy breezy, beautiful cover girl, and get with the program. Okay. Where am I at right now? I think I'm probably coming up to time, right? What am I at? 28 minutes? Okay. Guys, they're going at it here in SS2-13. It's exciting. I can't wait. I'm hoping this is going to last a while. As always, you guys know, man, I love watching me some good old-fashioned PvP. It's one of my favorite things to do. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. As always, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below for the matchup. Any predictions we have for this one on how you think SS2-13 is going to play out, let me know. With that in mind, that's it for me. As always, until next time, I'll catch you later.